Let's talk about frivolous lawsuits. All right, where do we start? Let's start with lean cuisine. This particular version says on here, no preservatives. Now, there was a lawsuit, a class action lawsuit launched against the company. Why? Because this product contains citric acid. And the lawsuit maintains that citric acid is a preservative, and therefore customers were fooled because of the no preservatives label. Well, there are several layers of nonsense here. First of all, I don't quite understand why anyone would want something with no preservatives. You want your food spoiled, rather? And the reason companies use preservatives is to provide a safer food supply. But that's not the point here. Citric acid is not put into this product as a preservative. It's a frozen meal. You do not need any other preservative. Freezing preserves the food. Citric acid is used to impart a slight tart flavor. But because the Food and Drug Administration in the US lists citric acid as a possible preservative, therefore the class action lawsuit says that this is mislabeled. Of course, no one would have been damaged by this mislabeling, but it's, I think, an effort to try to get an out-of-court settlement, and because it pays, it costs too much to pay for lawyers to try to defend this kind of silliness. All right, what else is there in terms of frivolous lawsuits? How about this one? We go to California for this. What's the problem here? You see the label, all natural. Well, it turns out that this also contains citric acid. And this time it's a different argument that the class action lawsuit uses. They maintain that the citric acid should not be labeled as natural. What's the story here? Well, citric acid, of course, can be extracted from lemons, limes, oranges, occurs naturally. But citric acid can also be made. How? Well, there's a fungus called Aspergillus niger, and you feed it some sugar and it will crank out citric acid. Now, the citric acid that is produced in that way is identical to the citric acid that can be isolated from a lemon. So citric acid is citric acid. It doesn't matter how it was made, whether it was made by Mother Nature in a lemon or by Mother Nature in a fungus. This is all the same thing. But according to the lawsuit, there has been some treachery here because it is labeled all natural, whereas the citric acid may have come from from a synthetic version. Not that it matters at all. But they claim that people have been misled by this. They even make the argument that the all natural is mislabeled because the sugar that is fed to the fungus that makes the citric acid may have come from genetically modified corn, and therefore this is not natural. Well, what is not natural is the plethora of this kind of silly lawsuits. Lawyers are making a killing off of it. What we really need here is some education. People need to realize that the term natural has no legal definition, and that the citric acid that comes from the lemon is the same as the citric acid that is made in any other way. Perhaps what we need is a class action lawsuit against the people who are carrying out these silly class action lawsuits.